Hi, everybody. I'm here with Emi Beredugo, and we're going to be talking recruiter enablement. Emi, I think you're kind of famous now, actually, since the first time you did this. You're on podcasts and you're talking on stage, and you're like basically a celebrity in talent acquisition now. So,
I'll give you my
um,
autograph if you want.
yeah. Okay, look, for anybody that doesn't know you, quick intro to you first.
Okay, so as you said, I'm Emi Beredugo. I'm working at a tech company called Elastic. So they're an enterprise search organization, and I head up the recruiting enablement team, which basically means I support anyone involved in hiring, whether you're a recruiter or a hiring manager or interviewer, just helping you to do your job better, faster, and easier.
Lovely. Okay, we're going to talk about tech stacks. Tell us about like what are you trying to achieve? What do you want to do? What's the history of the stuff? Go for it.
Where do I start? Okay, so obviously, like I said, we're working in a tech company, and it means that we have so much tech available to us. So I remember when I joined, and I joined about 2.5 years ago, I was like, wow, I've never had access to this much technology before. And I was like, this is amazing. Um, but once I started to get into it, we started to realize that there possibly is too much tech because not everyone was actually using it. And people coming up to us, oh, Emi, or my team members, go and check out this new tool. I've heard about this. I went to a conference, I listened to a podcast. And then we're constantly just reviewing and analyzing and assessing tech. And it's like, well, we can't take it on all on board. We already have possibly too much as it is. So really this year for me, the focus is like just taking a step back, looking at what we have. Is it the right fit? Do we have tools that are possibly doing the same thing? Is it costing too much? Can we get a better version or a similar version for less cost? Everyone's talking about doing more with less. So that's the kind of things that we're looking at the moment.
So, I am very kind of obsessed with this topic, and because recruitment teams do have they've got like hundreds of browser tabs open, they've got Chrome extensions, they've got logins for this and
Yeah,
portals for that. And I did a lot of research in 2023 and found that a lot of recruiters are very overwhelmed with the number of things they've got to use.
yeah,
And so the other thing is, I really believe that there's a lot of people buying technology out there because it looks great and sounds great and the pitch deck's, exciting. But actually, what are the problems you're trying to solve? And I feel like you've got to start with what are the problems you're trying to solve?
yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And this is what we're trying to like kind of instill with the recruiters in our organization, because they're like everyone else, and like nothing against them. It's easy to get swayed by the new shiny toys. Like, oh, look at this. I heard this organization using this and it sounds amazing, and it might be amazing for them, because maybe they have a problem which is different to what we're trying to solve. And I'll give you an example. At the moment, we are getting inundated with CVs in certain sections. So our support team, so the support recruiting team, so if you're recruiting HR, you put an advert up on for a HR job, you're going to get loads of applications. The same might happen with finance. That's not necessarily the same case when you're trying to find a niche software developer, for example. So the business need is different. So you can't just go out, yeah, that tool looks great, and think it's going to solve all your problems. You really got to take that step back and go, okay, what challenges am I facing? Why am I solving a challenge? Can technology solve it? Can my existing technology solve it? And if it can't, what do I need? What do I need to kind of fill that gap? And who else is out there in the marketplace? But the thing is as well, like you said, the companies are really good at pitching their products. So they'll tell you their product is amazing, but unless you use it yourself and trial it, you won't actually know if it solves your actual need. So that's a really key thing that we're, trying to enforce every single time we get a request or hear about a new tool.
So, previously I worked at a company that offers lots of different recruitment technology. It's best known as an applicant tracking system provider.
Yeah.
And I was regularly hearing about businesses buying additional technologies, but actually without having really explored what the ATS can offer, because I feel like a lot of applicant tracking systems are a bit like Microsoft Word. Like, you only use 1% of the functionality and you don't know what all the rest of the stuff does.
Yeah.
So optimizing the applicant tracking system sounds like quite a good place to start. And a lot of teams, I think, miss this. Have you been doing stuff in this area?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, we've probably been doing this for about a year now, looking at the ATS that we have. And look, don't get me wrong, when you said that, people buy an ATS and they use 1% of it, I think that's pretty true with all kind of technology. If I just show you this, I've got a new iPhone 16, okay? Bought it 2 weeks ago. Do I know everything that's in it? No. It didn't come with an instruction manual, so I don't know what's there. And I'm like Googling and YouTubing iPhone 16 features. I'm like, oh, I didn't know it could do this. I didn't know it could do that. That can be the same situation you get into when you're buying an ATS.
This is my brand new this is my brand new Samsung Fold, and
I love that. It's like a computer. It's massive.
It is. But
yeah.
I deliberately have had the same phone 3 times because I have worked out how to use a lot of stuff in it. But absolutely, I know what you mean. There are so many additional things that, and it's really cool when you're sitting with a friend or whatever, and then they do something on your phone. You're like, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. You're like, I didn't know you could do that. And it's the same with ATS or any other tool. It sometimes doesn't come with that instruction manual, and it's up to you to dig deeper, work closely with your customer service customer success manager, for example, your implementation manager, working with those teams to say, listen, I want to get the best out of this tool. I want to get the best in terms of ROI. So what is ROI? It's not just the cost efficiency, but it's also the time efficiency. You want to get best use out of all the features. But unless you, who's a tool owner, end user, take the time to actually investigate and find out what's in that tool, it's going to become a waste of time. So we're constantly doing that with our ATS and everything else in our tech stack.
Yeah, I mean, I think that consolidation of tools is definitely a priority for people involved in enablement in talent acquisition at this time. Yeah. And I wonder, do you think that by the end of this year, you're going to have less tools, or do you think you're going to have got rid of tools, consolidated, and maybe tried others, or what do you think it's going to look like?
I think we're going to have a smaller tech stack. In all honesty, we already started to from last year started to get rid of tools that we didn't need. But in order to do that, we had to become a lot more structured. We had to use a data-driven approach to help us to make the right decision. So by that, we put in things like, okay, we need to have a proper vendor management system, process. And that's not something that recruiting teams really know how to do. They're just like, yeah, that's recruiter's job. Procurement's job. But really, it's your job if you're looking after technology for the recruiting system. So that meant, okay, what are my SLAs? So when I signed up a software provider, I gave them conditions. This is what I expect from you. So if we have an issue, how long is it going to take for you to get back to us? And for maybe a level 1 case, level 2, so come back to me faster. Level 3 is more urgent. So I wanted quicker turnaround times. Then you got to look at things like, okay, how often are you going to update me on features? In what method are you going to use to update me on features? I don't want it just to pop up on my tool and I know nothing about it, and then my end users are going, what the hell is this? So I put those kind of conditions in place. And then we put it all down in like a Google Sheet, and then collaborated with all of our end partners and said, look, this is what we expect from you now. So we've got in the SLAs, but when we have our quarterly business reviews, we're going to talk about these metrics. So it's like a vendor performance scorecard. So what I'm doing there is collecting data, quarter by quarter, collecting data, going, right, last quarter, you weren't that great in resolving issues on time. This is where we expect an increase. How are you going to work with us to make sure we've got that increase? Last quarter, this feature didn't come out. It wasn't really resolving needs. How can we collaborate with you to make sure that you're bringing out new features that actually take on board the end user in your kind of development process? And when we give you feedback, how quickly are you incorporating that feedback so you can actually give us a better product? Because if you're not doing X, Y, Z, and we're continuously monitoring you over an annual period, when it comes up to contract time, when you're going, hey, Emi, when we need a contract, I'm going to go, no, we don't need it. We'll get another tool, or we'll be looking at the tool that we have, comparing it to what other tools we have in our tech stack, and go, maybe we don't even need to replace. Maybe we can happily continue and still deliver results with the tools that we are currently using.
Has it been easier otherwise to get usage data and like ROI information from the vendors that you work with?
It has, when we've asked it. Now, not all vendors have been forthcoming. So you do, like, if their vendor's great or your customer success manager is great, fantastic. They'll give you data. They'll ask you what data you actually need. But I also think that it's been really important for us to actually understand what data do we actually want. So I'll give you an example. You can go about tool utilization data. Excellent. When I started to look at tool utilization, I was like, oh yeah, just look at login times. If people are logging in, they're using it. Well, not really. Yeah, you can log in and log straight back out, and then that's not a good indication of someone getting full value out of that tool. So when you're looking at tool utilization, how deep do you want to go? Do you want to look at session periods, session frequency, the features of the tool that they're actually using? All those data points together paints a story. Like I always say, tell a story with data. So that paints a story, and then that helps you to think, oh, okay, right. So people have logged in, they've logged back out really quickly. Why is that? And so you go away, dig a bit deeper, talk to the end users. Is it because they don't know how to use the tool? Is it because they're not getting value out of the tool? But whatever they're telling you, you could then use to make decisions as to whether or not you make improvements to the tool. Maybe it's just promotion. Maybe you don't need it.
Been able to evaluate if there are non-recruitment technologies that you can be making use of. So, for example, there might be like colleagues that you have in customer success or in sales and marketing or those types of areas. And have you been able to share technologies with them?
Yeah, so this is another great area, something that we're starting to do more and more. And the idea, I suppose, came from going to more conferences and networking with people outside of the recruitment industry, because I think it's really easy to say, I work in recruitment, so I only need to network with recruiting people. But sometimes your best ideas actually come from adjacent industries. So you can do that externally, but you can also do that within your organization as well. And you can go, okay, what is procurement doing? I mean, we're a recruiting enablement team in my organization. That's a team that I head up. But we have a sales enablement team. We have a finance enablement team. Oh, okay. So what are they doing? What are they using? What processes do they have in place? What technology are they using that I could be using for our recruiting organization? So we've started to do that a lot more and partner with them, and we've had successes. We were all ready, for example, to go and buy this great technology. I absolutely loved it. We did all the testing. It was like fantastic. And then somebody went in sales enablement, oh, but we have a similar tool. I was like, oh, really? I was like, I'm pretty sure I asked everybody. Maybe I missed a trick and I missed your team. Spoke to them. It was exactly the same tool. In fact, it was a better tool. And so I was like, oh, no, quick, delete that invoice. We're not going through with that. We're going to get this tool. It's a better tool, and we've got cost savings because we just bolted on to our existing contract.
Abracadabra.
Exactly.
Emi, we've got loads of great information from you today. Thank you for taking the time to join me again. Let your skies be blue, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
No problems. Thanks so much.